Morning everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Well, we've got a treat installed today. I took off from Deenethorpe at about 8:45 this morning, and we're heading up to the west coast of Scotland. So the route is that we'll be going from Deenethorpe up to Berrier, which is in the Lake District, not far from Keswick. And we're going to grab fuel at Berrier, and then I shall continue my journey up to the west coast of Scotland, and then we're aiming to land on the remote island of Bute. Now, I've just deviated from my route slightly, and we're just approaching the Lady Bar reservoirs, and I thought, you know, we're not far off it. It'd be a shame to miss out on this, so I've just throttled back and we're descending. So we're going to fly up the valley and check out the reservoirs and the dams, and then we'll climb back up and get back on our route. I've done this flight many times. It is one where you need calm conditions to fly up the valley, which we've got today. The weather is absolutely brilliant this week, so it's a shame not to make use of it. But what happens, you know, if we've got a bit of a breeze blowing or more than that, the wind comes over the top of the hills and then you get rotor in the valley. So really, if you have got any wind, it wants to be going straight up or straight down the valley to make it more manageable. But this morning we shouldn't really have a lot to deal with. The reservoirs are full. The last time I came up here they were very low, and you could actually see some of the remains in the water from the villages before the valley was flooded. But we've had that much rain this year. I would expect these to be full. Yeah, well, we're finding a few bumps, which is to be expected. Nothing too scary. So there's the first of the dams, and the water that's sitting behind the dams is down a little bit. I mean, obviously when it's full, the water is rushing over the top of that dam in the middle there, in between the two towers. But the last time I came up here, it was just a little stream in the middle of the reservoir. This is one of my favourite flights, to be honest. This is about an hour away from Deenethorpe, so I can come up here, I can fly from Deenethorpe along the Derwent Valley, Lady Bar Reservoir, then climb up and turn back and head back for Deenethorpe. I can do that all in one hit. Sometimes I land at Nottingham Airport and call in there for my breakfast, which is always nice. I'm surprised actually, the water level this side of the dam is down. And there's the second of the dams. water level's down slightly at the back. And the last time I came up here, it was just a puddle sat behind that dam there. Okay, so I'm going to climb back up now and get back on course. And I'll join you back when we get a bit further up north and get towards the Lake District, where the terrain gets very interesting. So welcome back. So we're just getting towards the Lake District now, and the terrain's starting to get a lot higher. And with that, the clouds are forming over the high ground, and we've got quite a cloud bank in front of us, which we're going to go under. We're not going to try and go over the top, so we're going to keep below that. But as you can see in the distance, you know, the clouds are sitting on top of the mountains, and we might have to sort of work our way round it and make our way into Berrier. Now we've got 45 miles to run, and we've got just over half an hour, got about 35 minutes to do that. So we've come up against quite a cloud bank here. I've diverted sort of to the east, where there's a valley I can follow and get underneath this cloud. It shouldn't take me too far off my route. Well, it's definitely a beautiful part of the country. I'm following this valley out to a bit of lower ground. When we get to Penrith, I'll then turn west and head into Berrier. So we've had to divert a little bit off my track, but not to worry. I've not actually lost any time, and it says at the minute that I'm 2 minutes ahead of schedule. And I have sent a message into Berrier saying ETA of 11:12, and currently my instrument is saying ETA 11:10. So 22 miles left to run. Probably be a little bit more than that because we're heading up to Penrith and then turning west, but not too far now, about 10 minutes, 9 or 10 minutes, something like that. So we just set the altimeter for Berrier, which sits 1,020 feet above sea level. So basically I've wound my altimeter back 1,020 feet. So when we get there, that should be reading 0 on the ground. And let's see how accurate we are. So looking down to my right, I was just wondering what road that is. It's just come a bit clearer on the screen. That is the M6. So I've been up there quite a few times. One thing's for sure, if I'd have set off from home this morning and been in my car, I don't think I'd have been this far if I'd have been coming up the M6. So just coming into view over there on my left That's Ullswater Lake. I dived that a few years ago. I've dived a couple of lakes in the Lake District. I've done Ullswater and I've also done Wastwater. And Wastwater is the deepest natural lake in the country. I think we went down beyond 50 metres in Wastwater, but it is 80 metres deep. So we're getting very close to Berrier now. I'll be calling in shortly. My guess is that it will be a runway 24, but we'll get overhead and we'll check out the windsock and see if that is correct. Berrier traffic, Golf, 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 Tango Romeo, Flexwing Microlight inbound to you with 5 minutes to run from the southeast for an overhead join. We'll call overhead. Berrier traffic. So Berrier sits in the bottom of this valley ahead of me. Like I say, it's 1,020 feet above sea level. I've landed not far away from it at Troutbeck on quite a number of occasions. It can be quite challenging. When there's a bit of wind going on, it's whistling around these mountains that surround it. And then you get all the rotor and turbulence in the valley. But we shouldn't have any of that today. It should be fairly easy going. 2 minutes to run. I can't see the airfield yet. Yeah, I think I've got the airfield in front of me. There's some buildings here, and then there's a strip that runs alongside the road. Can't see a windsock. Oh yes, I can now. Apparently the coming in on 24, there's a slight camber on the runway that sort of take me down to the left, so I've got to be aware of that. Coming in over the buildings. And apparently there's a small tree, but nothing that looks too bad, to be honest. Yeah, we're definitely on runway 24. Can't see anybody about. Berrier traffic, Golf, 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 Tango Romeo, Flexwing Microlight in the overhead and descending dead side for runway 24, Berrier. Berrier traffic, Golf, 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 Tango Romeo, downwind 24, left hand. Golf, 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 Tango Romeo, final 2-4. Down safe at Berrier. This is a first for me, I've not been into this one. So let's have a look at the route we've just done. That's 177 miles, 1 hour 26. And then the one ahead of us up to Bute, that's 114 miles and 1 hour 48. Lining up runway 24, immediate departure, Berrier. Well, that was Berrier. I've not been in there before. I've been into Roger's other airfield, Troutbeck, on numerous occasions. So that's another new airfield to mark down in the book. We're heading sort of northwest now, heading for the west coast of Scotland. And it's a flight that's going to take, well, what time is it? 1 o'clock. About 1.5 hours. And it's 112 miles to run. So we'll be out over the water shortly. As we cross the estuary, which is the Solway Firth. So we'll aim to get a bit of altitude. We've got some clouds in front of us. By the time we get there, we should be going over the top of them. reset the altimeter back to QNH, which is about 1020, according to the GPS, that is, anyway. Over Bute airfield, and just over there beyond it is the beach where I'm intending to go and have a look and do a bit of cooking. We'll just nip down and have a look at it, and then we'll join the circuit and land on Bute. What a stunning place. I'm sure we can find a spot down there to get the stove going. Bute traffic, Golf Tango Romeo, downwind 27. One side of the island to the other. Bute traffic, Golf Tango Romeo, final 27. And we're down. And it looks like somebody else is here. Already got the tent pitched up. So we're here on the Isle of Bute. I've just got the plane tied down, got my tent set up, everything's all good. Got it all set up inside, got my airbed pumped up and my sleeping bag out. Should be a comfortable night. I've walked down across the golf course that's behind me, and it's only a short walk. 10 minutes, and now we're at the beach. And let's have a look at this beach. What a venue. I'm going to find a little sheltered spot down here somewhere, and we're going to cook some food. So looking at the sea, I would say that the tide has turned and it is now coming in. So that'll be interesting. We'll see how long that takes to get up to that point there, if we're here long enough. And that over there, that island over there is the Isle of Bute. And it looks like we've got some fairly high peaks on there. So it looks like when the tide's in, it actually comes right up to here. So it's got a good way to come. So what we actually need is a nice sort of sheltered spot with a few rocks that I could perhaps use as a table, and I can set all my gear out and we can cook some food. So we've got the pan going, fire lit, we've got the pan on. Have a drink, I think. Got some lamb steaks. Well, all that needs now is a bit of mint sauce. Just a bit. Then we need a bit of mushroom on there. And will you look at that? Absolutely awesome. So the cooking went well. We had lamb steak with mushrooms and fried potatoes. When then got myself finished and went down the pub. I had a couple of pints down there. It's pretty much an eating pub, so didn't really find anybody to chat with. And then I got myself back up the airfield where the wind had dropped and all the midges were out in force. Okay, so I'm just sitting here now and it's just gone 9 o'clock and the wind has dropped. Look at that windsock, dropped down to nothing. And all of a sudden the midges have come out and it's going mad. So I've got my Flextail gear repeller out and I've put 2 new tablets in it and I've put it on full. So let's see if this thing works. This is supposed to repel an area of about 10 metres. So I know it's going to take a few minutes for it to heat up and warm these tablets up that I've just put in it. But I'm going to sit here and see if it works, and hopefully it does. And hopefully it won't take too long. So we put it on. It's now 5 minutes past 9. I mean, you do expect midges in Scotland, so I'm not complaining, but I will be if this implement doesn't work. So I'm actually holding this out so to try and repel the midges. Get out of it. Nothing's really happening yet. I have sat at home out in the garden with this running, and with it on full power, after, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, it's actually started to sting my eyes. So I'm hoping this is going to work, but up to yet, it's not doing anything. So I've actually got 2 tablets in it. I've put 1 in each side, and they're brand new out the packet. So it's on full, so it doesn't get any better than that. Well, I tell you what, they've definitely thinned down a bit. There's still a few about. I think they've thinned down a bit. Well, I'm having to hold the thing right next to my head, so it's definitely not a 10-metre radius. So it's 13 minutes past 8. And as far as I'm concerned, this thing isn't working. They don't care.